everybody. Welcome to Square Off.
Celebrities and big-time CEOs have joined forces to ban the word bossy. Apparently, the word has a real negative impact on girls' lives.
Yeah, and it's interesting, that concept. I certainly believe wholeheartedly in the power of language. At the same time, though, banning the word bossy is not the solution. Healthy self-esteem and a good role models are, and we're going to talk about it later on Square Off.
Pay-as-you-go cell phones are very popular these days. The more you use them, the more it costs you. So it's no surprise that insurance companies are picking up on that idea. Some have come up with usage-based auto insurance, a most interesting concept.
Insurance companies say this will save some consumers up to $1,500 a year, which is always good news. And there is more to this plan than just how much you drive. Drivers will be measured on the time of day the vehicle is being used, how hard you accelerate, and how hard you brake. It's an interesting idea, which is also raising some very important privacy concerns.
Joining us today from Queen's Park, we have Joe Daly from Desjardins Insurance Group. They're offering usage-based insurance. Joe, tell us how the program works.
Mark, it's really quite simple. So there's three factors we measure. First, you contact us. We send you this little device. You plug it in under your steering wheel to your onboard diagnostic port. That's a telematics device. It sends information to us about when you drive, what time of day you drive, and late at night is bad. It tells us when you're jamming on the brakes, when you're fast accelerating, and it also tells us how much you drive. And from that, we determine whether we think you're a safe driver or not, and we can offer you a discount accordingly.
Okay, also joining us in Toronto, we have Gil Zvulony. He's a Toronto litigation lawyer who's an expert on technology and privacy laws. And Gil, what are some of the concerns that you have when you hear about a program like this one?
I'm concerned about privacy, number one. I think, the thing with privacy is this done with consent? And I think that's really the overarching concern here is what are people consenting to, or what are they made aware of? How is this information going to be used? Where is it stored? How can people get access to it? Who owns it? Is it transferable? I mean, there are a lot of questions that I have and concerns that I think consumers should have. And I think it's a free market, and if it's done with everybody's eyes wide open, then great. It's just my concern is how is this consent going to be obtained? How does it impact drivers who are not the customer of the insurance company but just borrowing the car?
Okay, so Joe, now that you've heard some of these concerns from Gil, and they're all good ones, if he were to approach you to get a quote about his driving abilities, could you assure him that none of some of the private material that is coming out of that, some of the information, would not be used in a situation where it would void his privacy?
Absolutely. And I want to say, first of all, the Ontario Privacy Commissioner has said this is a very good program. We tell people about it. It's totally voluntary. You can drop out anytime you want. We keep the information secure and separate. Only you can see it. We arrange a private website that you can go to and see how you're driving and see if you can improve your driving and improve your discount. We take very strong measures to protect our customers' information. And we can only use it by the regulators to give people discounts. We can't penalize them in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, Gil, let's say I've got one of these tracking devices in my car and I get into an auto accident. And the other person says, well, he doesn't believe my story and vice versa. Could the police get access to this if they know that there's a device that's recorded all the information? It's quite simple. It would tell them exactly what occurred. Could one of the parties, the police or the other party, get access to it, do you think?
Sure. I think there's a provision in the criminal code for searches of tracking devices. They can do it real time without you even knowing, the police, if they get judicial approval to that. I can foresee this kind of evidence being used in civil proceedings. Was so-and-so at this particular location at this particular time. I can see that information being subpoenaed.
For what kind of situations would that be required or be able to be accessed? Like what kind of crimes are we talking about?
It could be as simple as I don't think it would be necessarily commonplace, but it might be if the information is easy to access and it could prove a point that's relevant in a lawsuit, whether that be criminal or civil.
So, Gil, for example, suppose there was a hit and run, or there was somebody that was a witness to an accident, and you got maybe a partial plate or whatever. Anyway, they found out that it was you, and they want to go into the little black box and get the information and find out if in fact, you were there at that particular time, and were you part of the accident? Would that be something that might concern you, that they would be able to have access to this information?
Yeah, I think so. And, you don't even need the little black box. My friend told me that the information is uploaded daily to service. So you would just have to subpoena that information from Desjardins or from the service provider.
Joe, for people, I mean, this is a really interesting idea, the idea of saving some money on insurance. Who doesn't want to do that? I don't know, though, where the bar is in terms of quality of driving that I'm being measured by. For example, I might think that I'm a terrific driver, and in fact, the bar is much higher than my quality of driving, and I'm going to find out the hard way if I install one of these boxes. How does someone supposed to know where they fall on the scale of good or bad?
Well, they'll find out as soon as they sign up for the program.
But then what happens? Do their rates go up? And can they take the box out? And
No, rates don't go up. What happens is that they can see on a daily basis, go to this website and see where they're hard braking, see where they're fast accelerating, see what time of day they're driving if they don't know, or if your kids are stealing your car at night. But no, actually what it does is it encourages people to drive more safely, because they actually finally get feedback. I might think I'm a great driver, but then when I look at the website, I think, oh my God, I'm slamming on the brakes, I'm in and out of lanes all the time.
So if I'm a terrible driver, there's nothing you can do. You're not going to touch my insurance premium.
No, the regulators will not let us. We can only use it for discounts, and it's very clear in the program. It's only for discounts. So, Liz, what we want to do is we want to attract, with this program, really good, safe, cautious drivers, because they don't have accidents and they're very profitable for us.
Okay, Joe, in 20 seconds, tell me who your ideal candidate would be to save $1,500 a year. What would their driving? You said don't drive at night, basically, is one of them. What are some of the other things that if we adhered to those, we could save all this money on our insurance?
So you can save up to 25%. I don't know where the $1,500 came from.
25% is pretty significant.
Is very significant. Insurance in Ontario is very expensive.
Right.
So it's a driver who doesn't do over 15,000 kilometers a year.
Okay.
Because that's 10% right there. It's a driver who's not slamming on the brakes, not in and out of the lanes fast accelerating, so a more cautious driver. And it's somebody who doesn't drive late at night. That's where the high percentage accidents are, and somebody who doesn't do a lot of rush hour driving. You can do some, but maybe not a lot.
Great.
Gil, are we just at the beginning of this kind of technology where we're going to be watched, we're going to be tracked? We've talked about the police officers having cameras on their lapels. Now our cars will be tracked. What's next?
Liz, we're in the middle of it. It's not the beginning. I mean, right now, just to get here, I was tracked using my phone to get on the subway. I was filmed several times. We're in the middle of it. I see the next step, maybe a service like Google or Facebook offering a similar service. Hey, we'll put this device in your car. You can track how good you drive, and in return, we'll serve you ads for Tim Hortons or something like that.
Interesting. You know what? This could be a very slippery slope, but in both directions. Everyone wants to save money, and they want to know what to avoid if they want to save money on their car insurance. And, of course, there are others that are concerned that, what's the next step? Or, we're going to have cameras mounted so that we can see the reactions of drivers and how they react in certain situations. Most interesting. Thanks so much to Joe Daly from Desjardins Insurance and from litigation lawyer Gil Zvulony. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
When we come back, do not let all those DIY reality shows fool you.
The thousands of dollars that you put into home renovations may be adding zero to the value of your home. Find out more after this time out.